This is Seth David for the Sleater Group, bringing to you a very special screencast. This time we're talking about how to handle consignment goods in QuickBooks. Give us a call for information about memberships and resources at 888-484-5484.
Hey, Seth David here, and before we get started on consignment goods, I want to show you something, because this tip you're about to watch in video form comes right out of the Sleater Consultant's Reference Guide. Now, the one I'm holding here is from 2012. However, by the time you're watching this video, you're going to be able to pick up your 2013 Sleater Consultant's Reference Guide. So check the description of the video for the link directly to there, or just go to sleater.com/products/consultant, and you'll be able to see our entire list of products that we offer for you, including the QuickBooks Consultant's Reference Guide for 2013. Now stay tuned for our tip on how to handle consignment goods in QuickBooks. Welcome to QuickBooks Consignment Goods. Now when you're talking about consignment goods and how to handle them in QuickBooks, it's important to realize there's two sides to this equation. There's the situation when you are the consignor and the situation where you might be the consignee. In other words, as consignor, you are placing your goods in the hands of somebody else to sell them on your behalf. You still need to keep track of them because they're still yours until they're sold, and you need to know how much you've got and where. As the consignee, somebody else has entrusted you with their products in order to sell them on their behalf. They don't belong to you, but you still have to keep track of them because you have to know how much you have and how much you've sold and report back to the consignor. So in the first section here, we're going to take a look at what this looks like as consignor. Now, one thing to point out, I am doing this in QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions, which, as you'll see in the text, it points out that you don't necessarily need to use the method I'm going to show you to handle this, because you can have multiple warehousing locations, so you can simply set up another warehousing location for the consignee. However, I'm going to show you what it looks like assuming you don't use QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions and therefore do not have access to that feature. Stay tuned. So, we're in QuickBooks 2013, as you have probably recognized. So things look a little different if you haven't seen it before. The interface is a bit different. Let me close all my windows here and actually reset this to the view that you're more likely going to see when you first sign into QuickBooks 2013. And you're probably going to see the icon bar here on your left. What I've done, and it's a personal preference, you don't have to do this, is I've moved it up to the top. And I've also gone into the preferences and I've turned on the color. Under desktop view, I have checked off switch to colored icons, light background on the top icon bar. That option is only available when you move the icon bar to the top, which is the main reason why I like it. And all that was to say that the first thing we want to do when we're trying to set up our goods to be sold on consignment through someone else, in other words, we're the consignor, we want to go to the item list. And very likely you're going to have a button tagged in your icon bar that takes you straight to the item list. If you don't, just come over here to lists and check off item list. Very simple, very straightforward. Once you do that, one way or the other, you'll be looking at the item list. Funny how that works. And what we want to do is we want to set up a separate section for consignment items. So you can either come all the way down here where it says item and choose new, or you can come up to the edit menu and choose new item. Either one will get you to the exact same place. So we're talking about inventory parts, and we want to create the section, so let's just call it consignment items. That's all. Nothing else to do here. You do have to assign an income account, so make sure you do that. Income. Oh, let's just pick something. Revenue. The other thing is we're going to want to create another asset account for consignment goods or consignment inventory. Okay. Set up. Save and close. Consignment inventory is all set up now. So all of our consignment items are going to be sold out of the consignment inventory account. Now, once that's done, it's actually very easy to do the rest of the setup part. So the first thing we're going to do is, all you want to do is take any items that you would want to be selling on consignment, and you can right-click the item and choose Duplicate Item. Then you're going to want to append the item, instead of calling it dupe, with something at the end that lets you know it's a consignment good. And instead of being a sub-item of bat/vanity fixtures in this case, we're going to move down and put it under consignment items. And then we change the asset account to consignment inventory. Clear as mud. Click OK. Let's do a couple more. Okay? So another one we're going to do is going to be under ceiling fixtures. We're going to take this first one here, and just so you can see it done again, we're going to duplicate the item. I right-clicked it, duplicate item, and we're going to come over here, get rid of the dupe, change it to CONS, and change this to consignment inventory, and we're going to click OK. And last but not least, we'll do one more under ceiling fixtures again. Oh, one other thing, and this is good because you may do this too. I forgot to change where it goes as a sub-item. So if you happen to make that same mistake, just right-click it right here in the list, edit the item, and change the sub-account. Or change the parent account, rather. Consignment items. Click OK, and you'll see that it's now moved down to the appropriate section. And finally, under ceiling fixtures, let's move one more item. We're going to move our P5038-30. Again, duplicate item. Rename it or append the name. Consignment items. I'm using my tab key to move through the fields nice and quick. Consignment inventory. Now, incidentally, if you happen to know what your consignee is going to sell this stuff for, you also may want to update the price. Otherwise, you can leave it blank in there because, of course, once it is sold, then you'll know how much it's sold for. And when you fill out your sales receipt, then you can update the price based on what it actually sold for accordingly. So if you have a QuickBooks file to work off of, then go ahead and practice that. If not, if you got the reference guide, then you have the Consignment-12 QuickBooks Portable Company file. So go restore that, and you can practice on this very company file. Stay tuned, and we'll get into the next section in just a second.